Tameside Radio Sports Talk with Betfred. Visit your local Betfred shop today for a variety of great offers and check out our app for great features like Pick Your Punt Builder. Whenever you bet, Betfred. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Well, hello and welcome. This is Sports Talk with me, Lewis Connell, and as always, I'm joined by Peter Spencer from Betfred. How are you today, Peter?
Yeah, smashing.
Very good. Well, we'll start with the Premier League then, with Manchester United's big win away to Aston Villa. Late goal from Scott McTominay. You're a big fan of his, I know, and that's not done his cause any harm.
No, always surprises me when he doesn't start. I think he's the sort of player that United need to get a grip on the midfield. Seems to complement the other midfielders so well. I think he's a better prospect than Casemiro nowadays as well. He's forever getting himself booked, of course. And it has had a massive effect on the title race. United's victory, they're now into 300 to 1 for the title from 500 to 1, so we do think they've got a little bit of a chance now, but the 5 to 1 more significantly for a top 4 finish, so they're coming in all the time on that. We think that it'll be City, well, everybody knows it's going to be City, Liverpool, Arsenal and possibly Spurs for the top 4 places, and certainly for the title itself, but Aston Villa are still in there, 150 to 1 for the title and 15 to 8 for a top 4 finish. And then next up we've got United at 5 to 1, Newcastle 16 to 1. It was an interesting victory, I'd say. I think United edged it with better quality in the key parts of the pitch, and I think that Villa's bubble may well have burst through lack of squad depth, a bit like Newcastle, frankly.
Yeah, it was a massive game, really, wasn't it? Because the lead could have been 11 points if Villa had have won it. Instead, it's now 5 points. So, you know, United's obviously odds have been slashed quite dramatically from that. Yeah,
they're the biggest movers over the weekend. They're coming at 5 to 1 for a top 4 finish. They were 8 to 1 before that game, and then we've got Aston Villa 15 to 8. So they're well in their sights to achieve that.
And obviously Manchester City won as well. They defeated Everton to go top of the league for a few hours, and then Liverpool obviously won to go top themselves. But Liverpool obviously have played a game more, so Man City will still be favourites, no doubt, for the title.
Yeah, City have been favourites all season, effectively. I think the one to watch, though, are Arsenal. They seem to be piling on the pressure now with that 6-0 win against West Ham. Very, very poor West Ham side, mind you. So Betfred have City 8 to 15 to win the title, so clear favourites. Liverpool 13 to 5. They just keep winning like a machine. Arsenal, as I say, fantastic to put 6 past West Ham, and that'll have a huge bearing on if it goes down to goal difference at the end of the season. I think they're now the same as City. They're 6 to 1 for the title. Then we've got Spurs at 40 to 1, Aston Villa 150 to 1, and I said a few minutes ago, United are now 300 to 1 for the title.
And just looking at relegation, obviously Sheffield United with a massive win away at Luton, but they're still the favourites to be relegated, aren't they?
Yeah, not quite as broad those odds now. The 1 to 20 to be relegated. Burnley 1 to 8. Betfred have Luton 11 to 10. Their odds keep fluctuating, but they were beaten again at the weekend, so they're 11 to 10. Nottingham Forest, they're 6 to 4, and they're more likely, according to Betfred, to be relegated than Everton, who are 3 to 1. They put up an half-decent performance against Manchester City, certainly well organised. And then we've got Crystal Palace, they're in the mire now, 5 to 1.
And just moving on, of course, to the Champions League now. It's the return of the Champions League. The knockout stages start on Tuesday, and City are away at Copenhagen. That should be a routine win for them, but you never know.
Yeah, I hear on the radio that it's pouring down and absolutely freezing in Copenhagen, so they'll be well used to playing in those conditions, the way it's been going in Manchester of late. So City are the 15 to 8 favourites with Betfred to win the Champions League again. Munich 7 to 2. Arsenal, and they're playing at Porto on Wednesday. They're 11-2 at Betfred for the Champions League, in third favourite position, the same price as Real Madrid. And then we've got PSG 12-1 and Barcelona 14-1. For the Copenhagen game itself, City are 1-4 to pick up all the points at that. Haaland 9-4 to score the first goal. Phil Foden 11-2 to score first, and Kevin De Bruyne highly likely to return and probably start in that key game. He's 8-1 to score the first goal.
It's two quite nice draws for the English clubs as well, isn't it, really? Obviously Porto, no pushovers for Arsenal, but City have got a very favourable draw there.
Yeah, they have. City never used to get favourable draws, but that's because they were sort of less established in Europe. Now they're in pot one every time, virtually, for many, many seasons now. And they're the team that most clubs would like to avoid. And as you say, Copenhagen will cause no problem to Manchester City. Copenhagen 12-1 to win at home. So they're not great. They're great odds if you fancy Copenhagen. But City 1-4, so that's who we think are going to win that game.
And do you think City could do the treble again this year, because they are favourites for the Champions League and the league as well, of course?
Yeah, we'll get the prize for the treble, but it won't be that wide. That it'll be more than something like 10-1 or something for the treble, because as you say, they're well in for the Champions League, favourites for that, and the title. That'll be the toughest, and then we've got the FA Cup as well.
And just moving on to the Six Nations now. Ireland with that convincing win over Italy. Are they still favourites for the?
Well, yeah, huge favourites now. 1-7 with Betfred to win the Six Nations. England now second favourites. They're 7-1. France 16-1. Scotland 20-1. Wales 100-1, and Italy 500-1 to win the Six Nations. So we do think it would be between Ireland. I think it'd be Ireland basically, and England, giving them a bit of a challenge there.
And obviously on Thursday, it is the start of the Betfred Super League, opening with the Hull Derby.
Yeah, what a spectacle that'll be for the folk of Hull. Hull FC against Hull KR. Great thumping arm wrestle of a game that'll be. So that's how Betfred Super League gets underway on Thursday. And then on Friday we've got a really daunting trip for Salford at Leeds. They entertain Huddersfield, and St Helens, they've arguably got the easiest match of all, because they're playing the newcomers, London. St Helens will be desperate to try and overtake Wigan at the top again. Now in that game, Saints v London, St Helens are 1-66 to win. I noticed Paul Sculthorpe, the Betfred pundit, he's been talking about this game. He thinks that St Helens will win by 30 points or more, and guess what, that's only 11-10 at Betfred. Jack Wellesby, that was the most significant thing that happened all through the summer when he signed again for St Helens for 4 years, resisted overtures from Australia. He's an absolute class act at St Helens, and it would have been terrible for the league as a whole if he'd have left to go and play down under. Well, he's 8-1 to score the first try for St Helens against London. And then on Saturday it's Castleford against Wigan. That's significant in that it's the first Betfred Super League game to be broadcast by the BBC. Wigan are odds on, Castleford 4-1 to pull off a shock victory. And to win the Betfred Super League outright, well, Wigan are the team to beat. They're 2-1 shots. St Helens 3-1. Leeds, they're going to be the best challenge from the other side of the Pennines. They're 15-2. Warrington 8-1. Now the other Greater Manchester clubs, Leigh 16-1, and Salford 66-1 with Betfred to be the outright champions.
And just to finish, we've got a story on a winner from Lancashire this week.
Yeah, he's quite a regular winner, this fella. He's very shy, no publicity, but he comes from the Blackburn area. He invests a lot in property. Very shy guy, invests a lot in property. 2.25 acres, returned £50,000 on the 49s.
Well, congratulations to him, and all the very best. Well, thank you very much, Peter, as always, for joining us. And if you do fancy a bet on anything that we have discussed today, you can do so via Betfred stores, online, or on the app as well.
Tameside Radio Sports Talk with Betfred. Visit your local Betfred shop today for a variety of great offers and check out our app for great features like Pick Your Punts Builder. Whenever you bet, Betfred. 18+, begambleaware.org.